Hello, Pragati.
Hey,
How are you?
hey, Ben, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. I'm very well. Thank you very much for joining. I will warn you at some point if I start like having the speaking strangely or whatever. I think today I've set the world record for the number of times I've bitten myself on the same place inside my mouth. So
It would be an honor maybe to watch that on this live stream.
I've got some of this cream on my inside of my lip where it just like really numbs
Oh,
it, you know?
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's ridiculously painful, but also like it just feels like you're complaining about nothing. Eating is like bite.
Ah,
It's
hopefully,
anyway.
hopefully it's not that painful for you.
I'll manage an hour of talking, and then I'll just go on bed and I'll cry myself to sleep. It's fine.
Appreciated,
Yeah, absolutely.
appreciated, Ben.
I'm really struggling through the pain for you. No, I'm fine. I'm joking. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Ben. I think already told you I always wanted to come here, and then suddenly one day you messaged me. I was like, oh, did this guy hear my thoughts?
I gotta say, before we get into it, I love this cushion behind your left shoulder. I think this smiley
Oh, the
sunglasses.
smiley. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that very much. Very
Actually,
cool.
those are the unwanted cushions, so I just got them in my room. Sorry, I just
Ah,
like
love it, love it. Everyone in the chat, thank you for joining as well. I know it's been a busy all day today on live streams. We've had Power BI quiz, I believe, is back after a
that.
while. I don't know who won that, by the way. I couldn't join. So congratulations to whoever won. Enjoy your Lego. And yeah, and Rishi's here to heckle you. So that's very kind of him. It's always nice to have a supporter to come and heckle you. Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, before we get going, do you want to like introduce yourself so that people know who you are, and then
yeah, sure. So my name is Pragati Jain, and I'm a data platform MVP. And then currently, I'm working at Avanade as a manager with an analytics experience team. So yeah, obviously, I work a lot with Power BI, and yeah, sometimes with different things as well, but you're mostly with Power BI.
Mm,
And yeah, like outside Avanade, I mean, not sure if people know, I'm like a public speaker as well. So I give a lot
mm,
many talks around Power BI
cool.
at user groups or conferences. Like I have got some upcoming in-person conferences in next month. So
Oh,
pretty
wow.
excited for it. So yeah, that's basically me in short.
Cool. So you do a lot of in person talking as well, or you want to at least, yeah.
I have started doing
Yeah.
in person now because now, as the world is little better, right? Like it used to be
We're
2 years
getting there.
back.
Yeah.
So now we guys can, come together and, have
Mm,
those kind of conversations together. So yeah, now I've started going for
mm.
in person events. So like
Nice.
I've got one coming up in March. I think most of the people must be there at SQL Bits. Then
Ah,
I'm
you do
also,
SQL
yeah,
bits. Very cool.
yeah, yeah. So I'll be speaking at SQL Bits.
Mm.
Not about Power BI this time, but yeah, a non-technical
Okay.
session, yeah, with one of my fellow MVP.
Very nice. Cool. I'm sorry. Just is that you've done in person before though? Was that your first in person?
No, no, no. I've done in
Okay.
person
All right.
before. Last year I was also at SQL Bits. So that
I
was
got
my
you.
first in person last year and first ever SQL Bits as well for me.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, your first in person to do SQL bits is quite a. It's not like a small thing. It's like a
Oh yeah.
large event. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty good experience because
Mm.
I I unfortunately started my speaking journey when we were under pandemic. So it was like 3 years back now. And
Yeah.
I started with virtual sessions and it was like kind of very bit different when I met
Mm,
so many people at SQL Bits. I mean, it's a huge conference, right?
mm.
And then you're speaking there. So it's like a very different experience as well. So yeah, I think I kind of like the in-person events somehow.
Okay.
Just like to, relate to people when I'm standing in
Mm.
front of them and speaking. So
Of
yeah.
course. Yeah. It's an interesting. The reason I mentioned that is because I haven't, have I not? No, I've never done any speaking at an in-person event. I've done lots of, well, not lots of. I've done
Virtual.
some virtual stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, the thought of going to in person is quite daunting because also when people I've only ever been to one conference when
Mhm.
I wasn't speaking, of course, and my personality I find is very different from online to in person. I'm much more shy when I'm like out in the real
Yeah.
world and stuff, you know. Um,
Actually, maybe I think most of us can relate to that, right?
mm,
Because we were doing everything virtually for nearly 2 years, and then suddenly these
mm,
in-person conferences started. So it's like for a person like me, it was really like coming out of my comfort zone because
okay.
just sitting at home talking to so many people, right? Just not out there. But yeah, when you go out there, then there's definitely a change for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be a reason. I mean, yeah, could be.
One of my thoughts is also just that when you're obviously sitting at home and you're on a computer, I would feel very aware of the technical setup. But when you're out and it's like a laptop, that in
Yeah.
itself must be a challenge, no?
Actually, it happens with me when I plan, like, okay, I need to go to office, okay, in person, and then I'm like, oh, I've got two laptops. One is work laptop, one is client laptop. I've got all my screen set up here. I'll go to office. I'll have to pull out every other wire, put them back in the office, come back home, do the setup again, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not going to the office. It's not worth it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it happens, right? At home, we have got everything set up perfectly for us, so it's yeah.
It's nice to move out that comfort zone, of course. Or sometimes I don't
Yeah,
think it's
like sometimes it's good to go and at least, meet your
yeah, for sure.
teammates. Not like 6 months. It's been 6 months and you haven't seen anyone. It should not be like that. But yeah, it's nice to go.
I should try also like to do an in-person talking, in-person talking, in-person conference or something.
No, yeah, you should. You
That's
should.
not a great start if you can't actually literally say in-person conference. Hello, I'm here to do my
I
in-person
think
talking.
your mind is still in the virtual talking side, so you just can't say that word in-person conference.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, Rishi's saying that you're drinking your pie by next step and you're not shy. That's because you were drinking with me. That's that key thing, right? If I can go up on stage after a couple of drinks, it's a very English thing, right? It's like I'm quite shy. I've had a drink. Now I'm going to do karaoke in front of 500 people.
Yeah, drinking with Rishi, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Rishi, right? So
well, Rishi makes you automatically not shy anyway. Just bring with his own
yeah,
wonderful personality, brings that out.
exactly.
Oh man! But you're doing SQL bits next month, you said, yeah?
Yeah, so I'll be doing SQL bits next month. Yeah.
Yeah, SQL bits. I
But
also
before
SQL
that,
bits.
I'm speaking at Power BI Summit, which is the virtual
Right, yeah, me too.
conference.
Yeah.
So that's the other virtual one coming up. But yeah, first in person is SQL bits this year.
Very nice. Are you gonna do the whole fancy dress thing? That it's like a
Oh
Dungeons and
no,
Dragons or
I'll
something?
be returning back Friday evening, and I think that party is Friday night, I guess. And
Okay.
yeah. This time I'm not. Last year I did that. I went to the party. I was like in a Pac-Man dress.
Cool.
It was pretty cool. I mean, I actually created that dress on my own.
Wow.
I didn't buy it. I actually prepared the dress. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, this year I have got engagements on Saturday. So yeah, just need to return back.
Fair enough.
But yeah, good enough time to interact with other people. So
Of course. Yeah.
I'll be there Thursday, Friday. So yeah. So yeah, if in the audience anyone's there, please come and meet me.
Come and say hello. Come and watch your talk.
Oh, come and watch my talk. Yeah, definitely.
Can you say what it's about, or is that still not?
No, definitely I can talk about it. So last year, myself along with few other fellow MVPs ran a free Power BI bootcamp for 11 weeks, and that bootcamp was mainly for the people who couldn't afford a training. So Nikola Illich, who is one of the data platform MVP, right? So he kind of came up with this idea, and he sent out, he kind of opened the application portal, like,
I saw that,
who can't afford Power BI training and how many of you will like to learn Power BI. Then I think he ended up getting somewhere around 75 applications with so, heart-touching stories like why they really can't afford the training. And obviously handling 75 people was not that easy for Nicola alone. So he kind of asked us to collaborate. So
nice.
4 of us joined him. So 5 of us did a Power BI bootcamp last year. So this year at SQL Bits, our talk is more around, what was our experience helping those people with that free Power BI bootcamp? Because we are actually so proud to say, like, 2 of them actually grabbed a new job after that bootcamp.
Wow.
And one of them was able to switch into analytics industry.
That's amazing.
So the talk is more around how helping can really help you in a way.
Absolutely.
It's going to be more around that. And yeah, we'll be sharing some experiences from the attendees who were in the boot camp, how they found it, and how their total experience was basically. So yeah, it's a non-technical session this time, but yeah, we are so proud of sharing this with everyone. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah,
it's an amazing thing to do as well, to organize and to give and to do. I mean, course, your own time and effort to kind of.
It was like a 12, 11-week commitment for all of us,
Wow.
but yet it was so good because
Mm,
once we finished the boot camp, all of us
mm,
were so proud, like, come on, we
mm,
delivered and taught something to people who just can't afford this training and were really willing
yeah.
to learn this tool, right? So
Yeah.
that was so nice. Yeah.
It's really interesting. It was there was something that I was thinking about yesterday. It was a when I say I was thinking about it, it's normally inspired by a tweet because I spend far too much time on Twitter. And it was someone, I forget who it was, someone who I follow, of course, talking about how this concept of, very easily accessible analytics,
Mhm.
through this promise that Power BI has of, was it's like 5 minutes to wow, or connecting the data sets and create your first dashboard in
Mhm.
1 hour is not perhaps particularly accurate, and there's a lot more to it than that, and people don't understand certain things, which
Exactly.
is true to an extent.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
But I think the flip side of that is, yes, you have a lot of people who don't know lots of elements that you need to go through,
Yeah.
but it's an amazing gateway to just start to do that. And I would consider myself a perfect example of that, because I opened Power BI, and then this was early 2017, and then a few years later, I'm doing stuff on YouTube, and I kind of feel
Yeah.
have a decent knowledge,
Yeah.
and so for yourself doing a course like that to bring people into Power BI to help people get jobs, it really shows the power of not just what Power BI can do for analytics, but what Power BI can do for people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that was the whole point of running that boot camp. I mean,
Mm,
it was not just about showing like what this tool is capable of, or just showing or marketing the tool. It was more about helping people to
yeah.
learn and grasp that tool,
Mm,
because obviously, like, when we guys work in consultancy, we train users, right? There are many instances we go and train users, and you understand the need, like why people really need that.
yeah.
So people trying to build reports in 5 minutes is why we have, oh yeah.
That's a very, especially for consultants, that's a very fair point, right?
Yeah, no, I think Rishi is absolutely on a point there.
Completely
Yeah,
true.
I would totally agree to that, because I mean, I've been using Power BI for, I should say, like 6 year or so. I think Power
Mm,
BI came somewhere around in 2015. I think it was made available
mm,
for everyone, and then I kind of started in 2015 only working with Power BI. But
mm,
the way it has grown, I'm like, come on, now Power BI is just
mm,
not like, it's not like in a small space now. You have
yeah.
got like different elements to it. It has kind of grown too much, right?
Mm,
So you just can't say, oh yeah, July 2015, Anthony, thank you.
no problem.
So yeah, I actually started using it in October 2015,
Oh wow.
when I
Okay.
was actually doing my master's. And so I have a master's degree in data science and analytics, and we had a course around
Impressive.
doing some analytics with any tool like Power BI or Tableau. And I chose Power BI because that was something that came new. So we
Mm,
had the flexibility to choose something like whether you want to go with Tableau or Power BI.
mm,
I don't know why I chose Power BI, but I chose Power BI. So yeah, I mean, I have like seen how Power BI has just, built his space around different areas. So it's like kind of really hard. And I'm sure many people will agree, like, it's not easy to just know everything about Power BI because there's too much these days. And most of the time I'm like, oh, is this also possible in Power BI? Because I never tried it.
yeah. Yeah. For
So
sure.
yeah, it's been huge now.
Yeah. I fall, I would say, squarely into the generalist
Okay.
area, and I know some people specialize in certain things, but I think it also depends on where your job is. I've never done
Yeah.
consultancy. I've always just worked for, I mean, different size companies for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
But you kind of, when you're responsible for like very much of a more of an end-to-end process, I do a bit here,
Yeah.
do a bit there, and I enjoy that, to be honest. It would be nice just to, like, say, oh, I specialize in this area, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's just to have it. But as you say, it's a huge product. Like in
Yeah,
two,
I mean, it's a huge product. I mean, obviously, there are people who have got their own expertise in different areas. I know
yeah,
people they have got, but
yeah, for sure.
I myself is like a generalized person. I can go and do every bit of it, but I won't say like I'm very much into something. It's
Mm,
like I really like to do everything because it kind of
mm.
completes a solution whenever I design it, right? So it's not like
But
that.
is there something that you really don't like, though? There's like some parts, I've got to do this again. It sucks.
Which I don't like.
Yeah.
Um
Go on, you can tell the truth. I
Yeah,
won't tell your boss. Don't worry.
no, it's not. It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, I mean, to some extent, I don't like DAX when I
Okay.
have to really go and write sometimes
Mm,
huge DAX expression. But yeah, there could be a reason why I feel a need of writing those huge DAXs because
mm,
maybe the data model is not right, right? There could
mm,
be reasons. But yeah, I don't like the DAX bit much there.
mm.
I mean, I know DAX, but yeah, if someone will ask me to explain things, I'm like, no, I don't want to answer much there.
Yeah,
but
that's
but
fair.
but yeah, I think storytelling and visual side of Power BI is one of my main key thing. I mean, I
Okay.
love playing around with conditional formatting tricks. That's
Yeah,
the favorite part for me. And I think today
totally.
I was having chat with Leon, who's actually the owner of the Microsoft Power BI UK user group, which I manage. And he was just having some challenges, and then we were just sharing ideas. Then I kind of told him a few things he can try for his report. He's, I think, working for one of his customer, and then
Mm.
yeah, and it was like conditional formatting. So I was like too much interested into it, and I was like, oh yeah, but you asked the right person. Hopefully the solution helped him, but yeah.
I'm
So yeah,
sure it did. Yeah.
that's kind of a soft
Mm,
spot for me in Power
mm,
BI. I really like to generate interactive reports and dashboards, which can, kind of tell insights and stories, playing with
mm.
colors and those kind of things.
So I guess you were quite happy with the recent update for conditional formatting
Oh
and
yeah, I love
yeah,
that on the strings,
on the
text
strings.
values
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, I tried
yeah,
it the day it was available for us.
yeah. I
So
bet.
yeah, I'm
Mm.
just looking forward to apply it sometimes on a customer report soon.
That's the thing, right? You play around, you do some stuff that's so cool, and then you're like, but where can I use this?
Oh
No.
yeah, where can I apply it, right? I don't
Yeah,
have a place to apply it and use it. But yeah, it's a good update, right?
yeah.
But yeah, Power BI comes with like huge number of updates every other month. And obviously I don't keep up to date myself because sometimes
Mm.
we are so busy, right? But yeah, when something new comes up and which kind of really interests me, I'm like, yeah, this is something I need to try. Rishi,
Um,
what do you
you know
think?
what it is?
Oh,
I completely agree with this point. DAX shouldn't be hard. With the right data model, it's hard to see why you need to go simple calculate 90% of the time. That
yeah.
is, sorry for clearing my throat without muting myself. Um, I completely agree with this. And I've had a couple of conversations recently, online and also offline, about DAX being difficult. And my wife is, she uses Power BI and she's starting to use it more and more.
Mhm.
So I've got to be really kind of as patient as possible and not be particularly grumpy when she's like, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Have you Googled it?" Yes, then okay, you can ask me. About DAX, and people saying DAX is hard, and I've told her, and I've said a few times that so often people say DAX is hard or whatever, but really, how often do you have to write these? I mean, you see some of these
Yeah.
DAX and they're like this long, and it's like that's like an exception. 9 times out of 10, you're writing a really basic
Yeah.
calculation, and exactly as Rishi says, if you're not, just blame the model and sort that out.
Yeah. I think that's what I also agree to. Yeah, if your model is not right, then definitely that's why you're writing the complicated DAX expression.
Yeah, exactly. Ollie, you saying to get Chat GPT right?
No,
I
no,
don't.
I don't
You go
believe
first.
ChatGPT. I saw your tweet today, right? Did he say Power BI guy is ran by some random guy
You
who
know,
I don't
and Seth Bauer from Power BI Tips. And I tell you what's really insulting about that is that I asked that same question about 2 weeks ago, and it got the answer right, right? And
know? Is
I
it?
was
Okay.
no, it's not. About 2 weeks ago, I Googled it, I Chat GPT'd it, and it said,
Mhm.
"Who is Power?" And it said, "Power BI guy is Ben Ferry," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Awesome, it knows." Today, I got a notification. Chat GPT, whatever plus or whatever it's called, is available
Yeah.
in Germany. You got to pay like 20 euros a month, and you get access to it all the time.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? That's an easy sale. Let's just go for that. I paid that money, and the first question I was like, let's just test the question and see if it's working. As soon as I paid the money, it gave me the wrong answer, and I was like, that's
Okay.
Power BI guy is Seth Bauer, Microsoft MVP, and I'm like,
Yeah, I definitely don't trust ChatGPT. I remember I was attending session this week. I think a user group session, and I think it was Nicola who was delivering the session. He
mm,
kind of gave a result from ChatGPT where I think someone just asked which is the first ever book written in SQL SQL basically.
Okay.
And I think ChatGPT came up with some random answer. The name of the book is that book doesn't exist anywhere.
Mm.
The writer of the book, that writer doesn't exist anywhere. So I was like, what? Yeah, I know ChatGPT is a big thing, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we guys should start trusting it now.
My issue is that I just don't know. I don't understand where ChatGPT. I hate the name, by the way. It doesn't roll off the tongue at all.
ChatGPT will sit, right?
Yeah, I don't understand how it's collating or where it's pulling its information from, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, if it's wrong, how can we correct it? Can we like give feedback?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how it is training itself, right? Because
Yeah,
it's a AI, I suppose, right? So it needs to train somehow. And I'm not sure how it is training itself. Is it like people asking stupid questions and then getting stupid answers?
right.
But,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a good question actually.
I
How it's going to improve?
I didn't see
Because
like a button for feedback like this is incorrect or something.
yeah, yeah, I don't think so.
No idea. No
Yeah,
idea. But yeah, I suppose I mean, Chat GPT, it's a good start to get you in the right direction for your DAX, perhaps.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like me there's a website called deepl.com where I use for translating like English to German and whatever other
Okay.
language.
Yeah, yeah,
So because I'm too lazy and my German's not good enough to write like entire nice paragraphs, I'll English, translate to German, and then I'll read through it myself to see if there's any like glaring errors or like anything embarrassing in there. So it's the same with like Chat GPT, right? You're gonna
yeah.
type it and
Yeah, yeah. I think AI is challenging. Obviously, it may improve with time. Maybe we can try it
yeah.
later in the months. It might give us more,
Mm.
confident results or more accurate results. But yeah, it's hard.
Ollie's saying you tell it what I got wrong and it learns. I didn't see that I could do that. So that's my fault for not correcting
Yeah,
it. Thanks for
yeah.
letting me
Not
know,
sure
Ollie.
about that.
I'm gonna spend all the time just kind of trying to catch Chat GPT out. Just at least tell it who I am, so I feel better about myself.
At least give my identity right. ChatGPT,
Exactly right.
identify me right.
Oh man, crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it could
Um,
be tricky. It could be tricky.
Thinking of things that we use and stuff in Power BI. This week I had the first chance in over a year to use the decomposition tree, um,
Okay.
which I haven't used in such a long time, and I love it.
I love that visual.
Do you
I
use it
love
very
that.
often?
I've used it in few reports and I
Hmm.
just like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah, it works well. And
Yeah,
it kind of shows like what it's supposed to do, right?
mm,
Decomposition tree. It starts with the root and
yeah.
shows the branches out. So yeah, it kind of works in most of the scenarios. I think in every scenario wherever I've used it. So
My frustration is I couldn't think of a good data set that I have that's
mm,
not company based, like obviously like data that I actually use, like open data,
mhm.
because like I say, I don't use it very often. And this time I used it because I had basically several different categories that can be viewed
Yeah,
in several different orders to follow a
yeah,
path of what's happened.
yeah, yeah.
And I was thinking, what data set exists open that I can connect to kind of use it and experiment with all? And
Mm,
it's a very specific thing, I think. I mean, everyone loves it. Everyone's saying, "Yep, it's awesome." Plus
yeah.
one, plus one.
I mean,
Um,
I used one of the. I created a report using the publicly available CO2 emissions data last year, and then I actually ended up using decomposition tree to show the regional splits of CO2 emissions. So basically, it
okay.
starts with the region and then splits further down to the countries within that region and shows that split. And obviously, like in decomposition tree, you can kind of see like how much is the proportion by
Yeah.
the color of the bar, right? So
True.
yeah, it kind of worked on that report for me. Yeah, and CO2 emissions data is publicly available, so yeah,
Mm,
anyone can try it.
that's true. I think maybe I've never used one before because I found them far too depressing at the
Mm,
time. But maybe now
depressing.
Corona data sets, at the peak of the pandemic, there was like 75,000 Corona report. Like with all your like people, if you did it
Everyone was
respectfully,
doing that.
but
COVID,
yeah,
yeah,
and I was like, it's every single aspect of my life. I just don't want it to be Power BI related as well. So I was searching on like Kaggle for data sets when I was doing Power BI trainings in my
yeah,
company and stuff, and to trawl through, and I was like, I'm not using that. I'm going to find like a
mhm,
decent,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but maybe it'd be good
But
for
yeah, I
cloning
think
data set to.
Kaggle is a good place to find
Oh yeah,
public data sets. Yeah, I kind of use a lot of publicly available data sets for my talks where I don't want to focus on the data, but showing the capabilities within Power BI, right? So we
yeah.
kind of bring so many times data from Kaggle, and it's
This
like
is
available like in simple Excel file. So yeah, just bring in the data, do the
yeah.
bit, show to people.
This
So
is an interesting comment though. If you're still talking about the decomposition tree, I tried it a lot lately. It's an amazing way to convince people they don't need to export data to Excel. Yeah, fair enough. So,
okay.
and anything for that, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think yeah.
I have slowly come to terms with that. I think the experience has improved quite a lot. So
Mhm.
I try to. There are certain aspects of my job and working with Power BI that I decided to calm down a bit about. And one of them was to try and get less upset when people say I want to connect it to Power BI and connect Excel to Power
Excel,
BI.
yeah. But still, I mean, I think most of the like clients I've worked with, they still need Excel export out of Power BI. I
Yeah.
mean, still people are stuck to that area. Like they just
Mm,
can't. I mean, obviously, I mean, they might be using it for further processes. That's why maybe they need that export to Excel. But yeah, still,
mm,
export to Excel is something still we can't take away
mm.
from the customers. They still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anyone tried live connected tables in Excel? Not me.
Does he mean by connecting to a Power BI data set in Excel? Like to create like a pivot table or something that I'm missing there? Because I do that quite often. Everyone tried live connected tables in Excel. If you like me and like go into Excel and then connecting to a data set and connecting to your Power BI data set, then yes, I've done that. If you're talking about something else, then no, I have not. But I might be misunderstanding your question. It happens quite often. But I think it's a cool thing. It's a
Yeah.
new. If it's a new feature, then no, I haven't because it's certainly not, the thing I'm talking about
Okay.
has been there for quite a
Yeah,
while.
I think I heard about this feature some time back.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think Anthony's right. It's a new feature.
Okay. New in the past couple of months. This is what you were talking about before. When you export. No, right, no, I haven't tried that. I always just actually open Excel and connected the data set through Excel. Um, this is what you're talking about before, though, about trying to keep up with the number of updates there are.
Mhm.
I did a conscious effort for that for a while, but I think it's been the past 6 months. I was like, maybe every other month I'll try and read because it's a lot, you know.
I think for me it's like maybe I mean similar to you, Ben. From last 6 months, actually, I'm not going and reading those updates. I
Mm.
get those updates mostly by people blogging about it on
Yeah,
Twitter or LinkedIn. So I just go and have a read about on their blog, have a read on the Twitter post, and then just understand. Okay, this was the update this month, and then like
yeah.
I'm happy.
I think I preferred actually reading the official blog, to be honest, because it's laid out what it is, and when
Yeah,
it's when you like read like LinkedIn posts, people like focus on the ones that they prefer.
they prefer. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it's just it's a time thing. I've
yeah,
been thinking a lot recently about this though, the need to kind of um keep constantly up to date and the kind of
Mhm.
pressure that imposes you because there are so many different things and
Yeah.
if you start to take it too seriously, it can really overwhelm you, you know? It's just like this
Yeah,
and
I
that.
I think I kind of was in the same zone few months back. Like maybe
Mm,
I'm just lagging behind because people are like doing amazing things out there, and I'm like, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know
mm,
anything. It's like that sometimes for me. And then
yeah.
I was like, oh, I should stop bothering. I literally did that.
Yeah, I
So
think as long as you stay in the place whereby if you have a client or your company or whomever, if
yeah,
they have a need to do something, and if you don't know if you, as long as you like still search and look around for it without just saying I don't know how to do it, therefore it can't be done, then you're fine, you know,
yeah, I
because
mean, yeah, because it's more like, yeah, if you get that done, you get that done. It doesn't matter what you
mm,
use, right? So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It's-
But now that being said, I'm curious about this new feature that people are discussing in the
Let
chat.
me read the chat.
It's a new feature when you export to Excel, apparently just creates a live connection. But what's the benefit of doing that instead of just opening Excel and then going data, get data, Power BI data set, and then literally connecting to the data that way? Because that for me is an amazing way of doing it. You just have a connection
Yeah.
and then you right click and it refreshes.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
for me is the much cleaner process. So maybe I'm missing something. I sometimes feel, and I could be wrong, I sometimes feel like they try to let you do things in
Mhm.
too many different ways, you know?
Yeah. Because
So
if you think about this feature, I mean, I'm not sure how many people use that analyze in Excel feature in Power BI, right? From
mm,
Power BI service. That also in a way connects live to your
yeah.
data model, right? So
But
yeah, I mean, obviously I haven't tried this new feature, so I can't comment. But
I understand. So it's a normal table, not a pivot table. Okay, I understand. Thank you for
okay,
making
okay,
that clear in
okay, okay.
my little brain there. I'm finally getting my head around it.
It's an Excel table instead of pivot table. Okay,
that
yeah,
that makes sense. I like
that
pivot
makes
table.
sense now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have
Okay,
this strange thing where I don't say pivot table, I say pivot table. And
okay.
the reason for that is very simply because when I first started using pivot tables in Excel, I worked at a company and everyone in that company called them pivot tables. And I don't know why, because it's not a German thing. Germans wouldn't say pivot, but for whatever reason, and I heard it so many times, I have to really check myself and think, did I
Your
say
mind
pivot? Did I say
trained
pivot?
yourself to
Yeah.
say pivot. Okay.
I say pivot. Oh, it's a pivot table. Like, what are you talking about exactly? There's a T there. You understand that,
That's
right?
interesting. That's actually interesting.
It's one of these strange things you
Yeah,
pick up.
because my first impression was maybe Germans might be pronouncing it that way, but then you said no, Germans don't pronounce it that way. So I was like, okay,
As
then
far as I'm
that's
aware, anyway. It's
yeah.
like everyone in my current team calling Azure Asia, also
Yeah.
very Asia. Like you connect
Okay.
I was like, what Asia? Yeah, Asia. And I was like, no,
Ah,
Azure
okay. Okay.
Asia.
That's also different. Okay. Interesting.
Anyway, strange pronunciations aside, yeah, yeah. Finance folks just want the data in Excel to do the calculations. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
And
true.
then
That is
slice and
true.
dice it exactly. Yeah. And
What are
and
you
yeah,
gonna do?
and yeah, Rishi is great with financial reporting. So yeah, he's the right person to say that.
Noted. If I have any, sorry, if I have any questions, I'll go to Rishi about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. Go to Rishi or Chris Barber. He's also too much into financial reporting. I mean, I know these two guys, and I'm sure there are others out there.
there's beautiful P&L reports of
P&L
everything.
reporting, yeah.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
Yeah. It kind of scares me sometimes.
Yeah,
What is that? What these two are doing?
yeah, I can imagine. It gets quite in depth sometimes, and it's such an important thing as well. I feel if you make like one mistake and it's like you've thrown like the financials of a company
Yeah.
completely in the wrong
Yeah.
direction.
It's that's why scary for me. Like, oh gosh, this is tough.
Yeah.
Getting the numbers right.
I hate it when I see an email and in that email someone's talking about the data and the data directly references a report that I've created. And I'm like, I hope my report's correct. I really hope, I really hope there's no error there. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, in that regard, we should be happy that the people export to Excel because it takes that massive burden of pressure off the shoulders of a report that
Yes.
you've built, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll definitely agree to that because yeah, export to Excel saves your life sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you were writing a book, what topic would you pick?
Look, one second. Lars is saying we German call pivot table pivot indeed. So it is a German thing.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
So
because it
it's
was a
right.
very mixed environment, people from many different countries, and everyone called it pivot. So
Hmm.
Lars, thank you very much for clearing that up. So I pronounce it like a German, which makes sense given the amount of time that I've lived here. So I'm so integrated
Yeah.
into this.
Okay, so it's a German thing.
It's a
Then
German
they,
thing.
they were right. Then yeah, we should not blame them like why they were calling pivot. Okay,
So sorry for calling it weird,
interesting,
Lars.
Lars.
That's my
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah. Sorry, Lars, for that.
It's
But thanks
also
for
like
telling that. Because if I heard someone saying pivot, then I'll be like, oh, that's pivot table.
yeah.
Basically, they're referring to.
There was also the thing. I'm not sure if this exists in the UK. Like a weekly meeting referred to as a jour fix. Is this also have this in the UK as well?
Say that again.
If you
Weekly
have a,
meeting for what?
they're called, we have it a jour fix, which I think is a French, right? And it's like I'm not sure what it literally means, but like a weekly meeting, it's like a scheduled keeping things.
Ah,
We
we
have
have like
a jour
stand-up
fix.
calls. I mean, we call them
Okay.
stand-up calls.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
stand-ups. Yeah,
like for example, I have a daily stand-up call with my team, like
yeah,
how the work has been progressing, right? And there
yeah,
could be like a weekly meeting, which is
yeah.
also a stand-up or status call meeting every Friday. Yeah, yeah. I've never
Yeah.
heard that word, Ben. Oh gosh, Rishi, what did you write?
Oh,
I
so you
have
get, oh,
literally
it's just tries to go. It's
what's
Rishi,
that?
Yeah, it means it doesn't matter. It's Scheissegal. It's basically like Scheissegal literally translates as like, well, Scheiß is shit. It doesn't matter basically. Scheissegal is like this, doesn't matter
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
It's a very like common like German expression. It's if see, I'm getting so much education here. Jour fixe is French indeed. It's translated to fixed day. So you have your weekly meeting. It's a jour fixe, so it's our fixed day
Ah, it's
meeting.
fixed day. Okay.
Yeah, man, I'm so happy that you're here, Lars, to kept me the right and all this information.
Yeah, he's just giving us the right knowledge there. Come on, guys, don't
Yeah,
misinterpret words.
these are words I've been saying for literally years, and I honestly I could have Googled them at any point, but I didn't because I just say them. That just becomes like the word that you say. You know, I feel so
Yeah,
ignorant right now.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to ask before you saying you really enjoy conditional formatting and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you? It's an obvious question from my side. Have you tinkered with Deneb at all, or any custom visualizations like that?
Okay. I mean, first thing with the custom visualizations, I rarely use them
Okay.
when rarely because I mean, yeah, maybe I mean most of the job that I have done so far with the reporting was obviously solved by all the in-house visuals in Power BI and kind of
Yeah.
give more clarity, give
Fair
me
enough.
more confidence. Nothing will break in production environment. I mean, yeah, I've kind of used one custom visual like there's a scroller visual which is a custom visual. I use that sometime. It's like
Yeah. I got
an
you. The ticker.
example, the traders, right? They have
Mm.
this every nanosecond trading price of every other share going on, right? So it's like a
Mm.
scroller bar. So that's something I use.
That's good. Yeah.
Deneb, I
Mm.
tried to use once, but
Okay.
I gave up actually. But sometimes I think I
Mm.
didn't give enough time to, I mean, dig into it, like what this is
Yeah.
about and how I can do it.
Mm.
But I'm seeing amazing things out of Deneb these days
Mm.
on LinkedIn and Twitter. Many
Mm.
people are like putting in amazing stuff there. So I get it has got a lot of potential, but it's just me like I haven't tried it.
I also, I get the impression, I could be very wrong, of course, that if you do certain jobs, if you're, for me, it's slightly easier because all of my reporting is for one company, right? I
Hmm.
work, and if something goes wrong, I'm there to fix it, and I can help people learn how to, you know, use
Yeah,
Deneb. And but if you're
yeah,
doing like consulting, they just might not want to have that visualization, maybe because they would need that not that knowledge within the company. I could be wrong because I've never done that job
yeah.
before.
Maybe it depends, right? I mean,
Mm.
if you can show them like Deneb is, I'm sure. Sorry, guys, because I haven't used Deneb before, so I may say something wrong here. But don't get offended. But 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 I have seen Deneb has got pretty much capability out there. I mean, I'm sure if you provide it as a solution,
Mm.
maybe customer will go and like it because
Mm.
it completely depends on what you're doing using Deneb, right? I mean, what kind of story you are
Mm.
trying to generate using that visual, or what kind of insight you want to show, right? In
Mm.
the end, so yeah, I think it kind of should work. That's what I think. But yeah, never used it, so I'm not really sure about how
Mm.
powerful it can be.
But I think since I've started to use Deneb,
Okay.
I've since then I have done a lot less of like um MacGyvering, hacking, whatever you call it, within Power
Yeah.
BI,
Yeah.
which I found when I was doing it is a lot of fun, like kind of doing things outside the rules. I produce results
Yeah.
that's
Trying to
a lot of
create those
fun.
tricks, like how you can use that single trick to tweak this basic visual and get that done, right? Yeah.
Exactly, and that's a lot of fun. I enjoy watching a lot of like Reed Haven does
Oh,
some
he
stuff
does
there.
amazing conditional formating stuff.
He
I'm
does,
like a fan of his videos, literally.
yeah,
My
it's
lot of
very cool.
inspiration comes from his, videos.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah, it's really cool. I want to say this a comment here regarding Denver. We wanted to make drag racing cars instead of plain bar charts. That sounds fun. Why not? Uh, want to
Yeah.
motivate customers and motivate workers by having the errors from our different cars. Why not? Just for fun. It's like this thing when I created like a thermometer. Like, do you need that? No, but you build it because you can.
Yeah.
But with Reed Havens, one of the things that I saw somewhat recently, and I'll say recently in the past 6 months, I think it was. It was a really basic thing, but it was really impactful. I thought he had like a bar chart, and I think he changed the maximum number and the minimum number to be 1 and -1. So anytime like an event occurred, you had like the little like mark up and a mark down, for example.
Okay.
Um, it was a really I've tried it a couple of times and have reports, and it's really like obviously you're not measuring like the actual entire
Mm-hmm.
figure,
Mm-hmm.
but rather
Mm-hmm.
in this month or in this situation, this thing happened, and it's represented on the y-axis.
Yeah.
Look great.
Yeah.
Look, it's very simple, very cool. Love it.
Yeah. No, no, no. I think his tricks are pretty cool. I mean,
Mm,
I love watching his videos sometimes just to see, okay, what he's doing out of this, because it's a simple tweak he does, but that makes a lot of
mm,
change to the visual in a
yeah.
different level. So it's
But
kind of interesting.
you did a live stream with
I did a live
yeah,
stream
I
with
remember watching it. It was
and,
pretty.
and I
I enjoyed
actually
it.
did conditional formatting tricks
That's right.
only. I mean, yeah, it was quite hard to do that with in front of Reed, but yeah,
Mm,
it
yeah.
went pretty well. Just showed few tricks. I mean, few of my favorites. One.
Mm.
So yeah, did
No,
a live stream with him.
it was very nice. I enjoyed watching that actually, and when I was watching yours, what I noticed, because I did one, I think a while ago. It was like a year ago, a
I think
bit
it was
less.
last. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
last year, somewhere in August, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
And what I like about doing it with Reed is that it feels quite collaborative, because I was talking about like buttons and bookmarks, which
Yeah.
Reed's amazing at. You know what I mean? It's like you talk about it. Why am I talking about it? So I'm doing it, and at the same time, I'm like having these ideas and also learning from Reed, who like says, "Oh, you could do it this way as well." I'm like, "That's a
Yeah.
good point, actually." So, yeah, it's a nice thing to kind of speak to someone, and this is actually, I think, quite representative, perhaps, of the Power BI experience in general. That
Yeah.
whilst I don't, Power BI to creating a report is not collaborative. It's kind of, it's not because,
Mm.
you want to share a file, that kind of stuff. However, the problem solving outside of the PBIX, the PBIX, whatever you want to call it, outside of that, it is very collaborative, because you're always asking your colleagues questions, and I love
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's what helps as well, right? I mean, you
Mm,
just like, for example, you joined a live stream and Reed just shows like five different solutions, and out of that, one of that was something, oh, you were looking for like for a month for one of the report you have been doing, and
mm,
and it's like, oh, my job is done just because of this video which
yeah,
Reed shared today, right? So
mm,
I think that's what the community is about, right? The
exactly.
collaboration the community members do. So
Mm,
yeah, that's
yeah,
that's a pretty good thing there.
yeah. I don't think, my favorite thing about that is the fact that it feels somehow less um, competitive. There's lots of jobs, there's lots of industries, or maybe not industries is the wrong, but there's lots of jobs or ways to work where people can kind of compete against one another to be like the best or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel, maybe it's just me, but I feel this is a very, generally the community is a very safe space to say, I don't know. I have no idea how to achieve
Yeah, I
this,
mean, I mean, yeah, it's sometimes like very comfortable to say, "Oh, come on, I can't solve this data modeling issue, but yeah, let's go and ask this person because he's an expert in this." Or
Mm,
maybe the DAX issue, let's go and ask Alberto or
mm,
Marco, right? I mean,
mm.
because there are few names in the industry. I mean, in our stream where we can actually, and these people are really. I mean, I literally messaged once Alberto for a
Oh,
DAX
yeah,
question, and he actually responded me back on LinkedIn,
that's
which I would
awesome.
have never expected, right? I mean, he's a busy guy. So that was something,
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of touched me. I mean, oh, come on, these guys are big names.
yeah.
And I literally met him at SQL Bits. He was talking to me about his India trip. I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Because at first instance, I was scared to go and approach to him because I was like, if he
Mm.
talks to me about DAX, I'm just gone. I'll be killed like that. But I literally just said hi to him, and he was talking about his India trip. Oh, you're
Mm,
from India? Which place? I
mm,
went there, and so and so. So it was like
nice.
so easy to talk to him, which I
Mm.
never thought about. So yeah, I think that's what the community is, I guess. So
I also like I understand where you're coming from, but I like just that initial fear that you're going to walk up to Alberto and the first thing he's going to say is explain context transition. Like, "Oh, I don't know."
I'm like blown away. I literally die
Yeah,
there if he asked me explain
yeah.
context filtering.
You'd be like, if you want to engage in conversation with me, you have to first answer these 5 questions correctly, right? Like
Basically,
gatekeeping.
you have to just, set this bar, right? I mean, you
Oh
have to
man.
do this. This is the prerequisite to come and initiate a conversation. I literally die there.
Oh, that was
I
amazing.
can't do
I love
anything.
it. I
I mean,
love
explaining context filter to
it.
Albert.
Like, can you start with something simple like what is sum and what is distinct count? Can we start there and take it further?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, I mean, these guys are pretty cool when you meet them in
yeah,
person.
it's
I
true.
met the guy in Cube guy. He's like, oh, he was
Mm,
so nice to talk to.
mm.
And like I've been following his channel for years now, and he's like standing in front of me.
Yeah, it's a strange
So
thing, right?
it's so nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
nice.
kind of like within the community. There's kind of like, oh my god, this person
Yeah.
who I
Uh,
watch every
I,
Saturday. Yeah,
I think that's one of the reason, Ben, why I like sometimes going to these
that's
in-person
fair.
events.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
very
mean,
true.
virtually interacting with these people is always on a topic like
Mm,
DAX formatting or
mm,
tricks, right? About Power BI, but you never get to talk to them about other things,
yeah,
right? So I
that's a good
think
point.
that's why these in-person events can really help you out with learning
Absolutely.
from their experiences, or
Mm.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty good basically.
Yeah, I agree. I felt that when I was there. I was really happy that I took the effort to actually go and meet people, and it's a different experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it this. I love these moments where people ask much better questions than I ever could have thought of. So, Rishi, there you go. Need to ask probably some harder questions. If you could spend 1 million on Power BI, where would you spend it? I love that question. Thank you, Rishi.
I
I could have
don't have
never,
family.
I would never have thought about that myself. So, go for it. Go on, Rishi.
Rishi,
Sorry, go, Rishi.
Rishi, first of all, you're not allowed to ask these questions. And second thing, I don't have $1 million with me.
If the CEO of Microsoft comes and says, "I've got $1 million for your favorite request, we're going to action straight away," where's it going to be?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that because there are so many things I would have.
Dark mode.
I mean, one dark mode. No, I'm not going with dark mode
I'm pleased for that.
because sometimes I mean, yeah, when you do things in Power BI, you're like, oh,
Mm,
I don't like this, I don't
mm.
like that. So yeah, there are many things. I'm just thinking, like, I'm just trying to understand because my main space is more like visualization side.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
it's an area that leads a lot of improvement. So
yeah. I mean, actually, I can actually list improvements, and if they
do
can
it,
be done in
please.
1 million.
And let's think about the question a different way. What are the top 5 or the top 3 things that annoy you the most when you're working with Power BI on a daily
Okay.
basis?
Okay. First thing that really annoys me is like to pin was some of my favorite data connectors in a report.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
So Power BI has, I think, somewhere around 157 or 180 connectors. I
Yeah.
saw on a live stream a
Mm.
week back from Microsoft.
Okay.
And suppose in a report, I'm just using 3 of the different data sources. I want to pin them or, make them somehow favorites. So when I
Hmm.
go to get data, those 3 should be at the top. I don't have to go and make a new connection.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh, Denev is there. Use
Hey,
ChatGPT now.
hey, no, not ChatGPT. It's just like rename ChatGPT to something that I can say without thinking about it.
Hmm. And the
Yeah.
second thing, okay, let me say the second thing.
I'm
I
sorry.
want to say this.
Yes, I'm interrupting you. I'm so rude.
No, no. Maybe I'm rude. I'm saying, Ben, stop. Let me finish. No, because I really want to say this. Okay. The second thing is why can't they just give? I mean, the conditional formatting FX button in every other visual
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because I have to basically build tricks around that, do things in a clustered chart, toggle it back. I mean,
Yeah.
do the conditional formatting there and then toggle it back to other chart because that option is only available there, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Christian, plus
It's
1,000 or two
yeah,
thousand, whatever you want to that, because it kind of say it can save the time.
yeah.
And yeah, what else can I do?
Number 2 is the second one that you said is I think for me, basically, if you can change it, there should be that button there. For me, the strangest one, I really wish that you could conditional format the actual the canvas background. You can't.
So when you say canvas background, is it
The
like conditional formatting the color or change?
yeah, like anything. Like for example,
Is it not there?
no. Last
Oh,
time I checked, I haven't checked for a couple of months, but last time I checked, it wasn't there. It was drove. I was
oh,
like, why? because it would be very impactful to actually change the color of the literal color of the screen that you're looking at, the report page, if you will.
Oh
Where you
yeah,
can,
I mean when you end up with like different scenarios in a single report, you can actually change the background colors.
yeah,
Oh, that could be interesting.
yeah.
Oh, I like that, Ben. I like it.
Thank you.
I think, yeah. So how much has gone there? Is it 100K gone there?
100. That's 100. Oh, you got so much money left. I mean, come on.
First, someone has to give me $1 million. Then I'll think.
What I think actually on my streams are monetized now, so you can actually, if someone sends me $1 million over the YouTube, I'll just forward that on to you, and then you can forward it
Oh
on
yeah,
to. That's
yeah.
fine.
I can. Then
Good.
I can just ask Microsoft. I'll just sponsor the money. Can you just fix
Absolutely.
these things
Yeah.
in public?
We've
What are they?
raised 1 million on our live stream, so we're going to donate that to Microsoft because they need the money. They
Oh
they
gosh,
don't have any money,
that
right?
that will be an amazing thing, Ben.
Yeah.
Ben donating something to Microsoft.
Absolutely. I mean, helping people in need is a big thing. So
We are community members. We help everyone.
yeah, exactly.
And
This
I think, yeah, I think.
this one is a common one, basically to pay Daniel Marsh Patrick for Deneb and Integrate. People say that a lot. To be honest, it would be an amazing idea, but I would be scared that they would do it and then they would immediately do a terrible job. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't mean that as an insult, but rather not kind of keep it
Yeah,
going, and then it would kind of fall out of whatever it's called.
yeah, but I think like there are a few things, right? Like for example, is it the shape map visual that's in preview forever? They never took it out of preview, right? It's the shape
Yeah,
map visual, right?
yeah.
And I've kind of used it at multiple places, and I always see, oh, it's still in preview, and it
Mm,
feels like it's there forever. I
yeah,
mean, since I've been using the map charts,
yeah.
then I'm like, oh, it could come out of preview now.
But
Maybe it's a
that's
long time.
actually, if there was one thing I could change, I mean, this is not something that I care particularly about, but I find it's a bit frustrating that if you look at the map like icon map,
Hmm, hmm,
yeah,
hmm.
icon map is never going to be a what's it called? I always forget the word. A visual that is in the not an approved visual, but like in a visual that's in the
Non-certified Microsoft.
certified. Thank you. It's never going to be
Yeah,
certified because maps
yeah.
can't be certified.
Mhm, mhm.
If 1 million could change that, I think that would be a nice step as well. Because the fact that a
Hmm.
map can't be certified because of the way it calls the data or whatever is a
Yeah,
shame, because I mean, icon map is the best map, right? I mean, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, Daniel's also saying
yeah.
certified. Um,
Yeah, I remember talking to James when I actually first joined Avanade like a
mm,
year back, and I was and and obviously I've known James Dales because he created this icon map stuff, right? And
mm,
then I was like, James, can you send me some very simple videos or
mm,
blogs where I can actually start using icon map? And he's so kind. He just came back and shared those blogs he has written
nice.
or videos he might have done.
Mm,
Oh God, James, I'm so sorry. I'm literally committing here. I never went back and tried it, and then I have heard so many good things like from people like Icon Map is really good because
mm,
the presentations that James has done. I mean, it kind of shows a lot of capability. Like
mm.
Anthony saying Icon Map is awesome. Yeah, definitely it is. But sometimes I really feel I don't get time to try these things, which are so
Yeah, of course.
amazing.
No, it's true.
So yeah, I mean, it's like crazy what people are doing these days.
The-
Oh, ask Rishi regarding icon map. Rishi, tell us your story. Did you create the best icon map or worst icon map?
Yeah, James gives a very good demonstration of the icon. I saw. I mean, I'd heard about it quite a lot, and I saw James did a demonstration at Power BI Next Step,
Hmm.
but that's again going back to this thing that we've kind of keep been discussing about the benefit of in-person events is the fact
Yeah.
that the information is kind of forced down your throat in a good way. Like if there's
What's down?
yeah, like if there's like a website or a blog or a video,
Yeah.
you'd be like, yeah, I'll watch that at some point, and you never get around to it. But like an event, it's like it's
Yeah,
there. I
you're
can
right.
walk,
Yeah, because you're sitting there for that hour or hour and a half and someone is speaking. So yeah, obviously you'll pay attention to what that person is talking
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah,
So
like
yeah, somehow you get that knowledge.
yeah, and if it's on YouTube, it can be like, I mean, I have issues with my attention span sometimes, and I'm watching a video. Oh, this is interesting, but then, oh, there's a video down here. I'm going to click on that, and now my attention is lost. And maybe that's more my problem than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You see my
No,
point,
no,
though,
no,
right?
no. I think it's with most of us, Ben, not just you, I guess. So I think it's the same story for all of
Yeah,
us.
yeah. But yeah, icon, yeah, from Daniel. Icon map is a visual that makes me like mapping in Power again. I completely agree.
Okay.
I've said it a few times. I try my best to not repeat myself when I do live streams, but I fail miserably. Um, I don't really like maps in Power BI, but that's only because the ones that you see tend to be really bad, and it's like
Mhm.
net sales, like with a little dot in different cities. Like, who cares?
Super
Why do I need?
obvious. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but icon map really allows you to do proper mapping, you know.
Yeah.
And Daniel, you can help me again here because I always forget the name. Daniel works with with a company in Australia, and I do apologize, I forget what they're called, but they do like amazing work with the mapping, and I didn't realize that
Oh.
all of their mapping, or a lot of their mapping, is done using icon map. And if you go on their website, I forgot to make Daniel an admin. Can I make an admin? No, I can't. Just thank you so much, Dan.
Discovery. Oh yeah, they do amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen their videos.
Yeah, the mapping work is so
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. They
Yeah,
do amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Daniel, I forgot to make you an admin or whatever, so you can't post links. I do apologize. I'll get it done for next week. But that's they have some amazing stuff. So this is, and I was looking, I was like, how do they do that? And then James said, oh, with icon map, and I was like, then
Ah, that's from where that comes. Yeah,
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 it's
definitely. Yeah, because I
always
have
a
heard
visual.
so much about icon maps. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's great.
and it's amazing. Yeah, just that I haven't tried it. Maybe I'm lazy.
But really, generally, how often do you have a project that demands a map? That's the thing. It's not that, and
It's not that frequent, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the same for me. Going back to what I was talking about before with the decomposition tree, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Amazing visual, but how often do you really
Yeah.
definitely need that visual? And it's why you kind of for the decom tree. It's why you can forget that it
Yeah.
exists sometimes.
Yeah, but I think I mean, just to add to that, Ben, I think sometimes having a visual makes a difference, I think, in the insight you're trying to
Yeah,
create a
for
story.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I think when it fits really well, then it fits really, really well. I mean, it just takes your story to a different level. So
Yeah.
I think that's where every other visual has its own importance. Like,
Mm.
we might not be using it so regularly or so frequently, but once we use it, it kind of
Yeah,
gives
absolutely.
amazing output. So yeah, I think that's pretty nice about that.
It goes. I mean, Anthony said it depends on the industry. Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
100% correct. When I say like we need it very rarely, I mean like talking about people like myself who are working primarily with like financial type
Yeah,
data.
yeah,
But if you're working, I mean, every now and then, I was lucky enough to work on a project with the HR department, and I love that because it's different data, and I could do
yeah.
things that I don't normally
You can
do.
actually create nice reports, right? Finally, rather than financial reports where there are just tables. Yeah, just two colors maximum, maybe three colors. But
Exactly, right. Exactly. And I could do some stuff with Deneb that I'd kind of done in practice before, and it had like a nice effect, and it was a nice experience rather than just kind of like I mean, to be fair, excuse me, I have no general, and I've kind of one of the other things I've tried to be better at is not complaining when I just need to produce
yeah,
a few tables in a visualization. It's a
yeah,
very legitimate way of reporting. Let's
yeah,
be honest,
yeah, yeah,
but I will still try to sneak some Deneb in there because one of my favorite things is that with Deneb you can actually create really amazing
hmm.
matrix visuals,
Okay,
and
okay,
I love that. So it's nice that it's for me. They're so um, I can't think of an English word. Ordentlich is in German.
okay. Hmm.
Orderly, I think, is the word in English. They're very kind of, all the columns are the same size, and it just looks, oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
you can basically, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Mm,
Yeah, because I've like, yeah, I was some time back working with a client, and then obviously it's a finance client, right? So you give them those tables in the report, and then
mm.
obviously they export that data to Excel, and they were like, "Can we have their fixed size, please?" On the column, I was like, "Okay, I can
Yeah.
do that,"
Mm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, right? I mean, it kind
Yeah.
of,
Mm.
yeah. I think few, yeah, like one thing in Power BI is like, it kind of overrides my changes sometimes.
Yeah,
Like for
for sure.
example, I make the size of the column fixed. I think there's a setting where you
Yeah.
want where you have to disable that setting. So the I don't remember the exact name to keep the column width
Yeah, I
same.
know what you mean. Yeah.
Auto column width, I think that's the setting
Exactly.
in the
Exactly.
formattings, right? And sometimes if you don't do that, then yeah,
But do you ever find that that fails though? The auto column width, if you
it
have like
fails. It
on the
fails.
yeah, like on the fifth row down or something, if it's like an extra number, it's like, why is that not working? I've
Yeah,
literally auto column width.
and sometimes if the header name is long enough, I
Yeah.
mean my column name is long enough, and suppose if the word wrap is on, right,
Yeah.
but it still kind of
Mm.
doesn't show the whole header name. I'm not sure if there's something still needs to be fixed on that
Maybe
side.
this is where the rest of your 1 million can go. This
Oh
is the
yeah, I mean,
final.
I'm telling you, Ben, I can actually list down at
Yeah.
least 20 to 30 things
You
which
can
I would like to get improved in Power.
you can do it in a follow-up tweet after the live stream. Just tweet it out and I'll retweet. This is my list of 20 wishes and just like list it out
Let's
there.
start with top three, and
Yeah.
we can tag Power BI team and Microsoft. Oh yeah, we can do that. I
Yeah,
like that
definitely.
idea. I'll do that tweet after the stream.
I love
And
it.
please, people who have joined us, retweet it.
Just one thing about tables. Have you used what's it called? The paginated. Do you do a lot of any paginated reporting at all?
No,
No,
I
no.
haven't.
Okay.
But I think paginated report gives that flexibility, right? You can keep the structure and layout same, I guess.
I would like to think so, and I've tried to use it 3
How
times.
is it?
I know
Okay.
people out there who make really good content about how to do it and stuff. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just opened the Power BI report builder, it's called, and then it's like this is the most horrible experience because it's the user interface in the Power BI report builder create
Mm-hmm.
page reports for me is just it was just so bad, and I was like, you know what, I can't use this. It's
I remember I was trying something. I mean, it could be a lame thing I was trying. I mean, people can
mm,
laugh at me for this. So, first time ever when I tried paginated report, and I was like, it could be like a simple visual, like
mm,
drag it and bring the
right.
things together, change the formatting settings, and
Mm,
keep them fixed, and then it goes like a normal visual in the report. But when I started using it, I was like, oh, I need to bring in the report builder. Okay, and then I remember reading like before you create a paginated report, there should be already a published paginated report somewhere. Is it something like that? Or
yeah.
I'm just saying stupid stuff here? Because I
I
remember that. I literally
yeah.
gave up. Like, how do I pre-publish something and then create? Maybe I just didn't give enough input there. I mean, those who are using paginated reports, obviously, they might be knowing it, but that was like, you need to
Mm.
have pre-published paginated report or something, and then use it in Power BI, bring it in Power BI, and then create something on top of it.
I'd
So,
gone through. I know there'd been like an option to if you go in that you edit in the workspace and it says
mhm.
create a paginate report. So I went there and you can do,
Yeah.
and then it says if you want to do more editing, you have to use the report builder. So then I downloaded the report builder and I opened the report builder, and then I just had to choose a data set to connect to.
Oh, so it's like I go to the Power BI service, create a paginated report,
I think you don't
save
have to
it,
do
and
that.
then
That's just what
use
I
it.
did accidentally. You know?
Oh, oh, you did actually. Okay, so that's the bit I actually didn't understand. I
Yeah.
mean, when I was doing it for the first time few months back, and I don't remember the blog I was following,
Yeah.
and I was like, how can I pre-publish something empty and then bring it here and then do something? I mean,
I
Rishi,
think.
I'll heckle you on team. Yeah, Rishi, we have a long catch-up due, so yeah, definitely.
Thanks for joining, Rishi, and all the questions. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think I would like to do a live stream with you, Pragati, and we could just basically me and you trying to use Report Builder and just failing. I mean, like, what? How do we like just both like
How do
not
we use
knowing
it?
what to do at all?
How do we use it? Actually, bring me for such live streams anytime, Ben.
That would be.
I'm bad at learning things. It takes time for me to learn stuff.
It
And
would
at
be
the
quite.
first time when I read blog, I'm like,
Hmm.
what are they talking about? I don't know this.
Now, and this is also a thing as well, right? I can teach you on the fly. So this could be a really cool idea for a live stream. Two people who don't know, they get together on a live stream, they share the screen, and they try to do it. And as people either
And
teach
two
them,
experts, yeah, and two experts telling things, right?
yeah,
Showing
but
things.
either in the chat telling them or heckling them. You know, people just like abusing us for being bad at it and also instructing us at the same time.
Yeah.
Idea for a new live stream. There you go.
Yeah. I should warn people you'll see weird of my expressions while using a paginated report. So yeah, be
Yeah.
ready for it if we are going because I literally, pull my hair sometimes. Oh,
Yeah.
what is this block
Mm.
saying? I don't understand it at all. So yeah, sorry
I,
about that.
I had an idea a while ago, like maybe I could like live stream me like using like Deneb, like a live stream creating Deneb. And
Hmm.
I had the idea and I kind of practiced it and I realized
Mhm.
it wouldn't work because how do I say this nicely? Quite often when I get frustrated, I will of course swear. So that's not a great thing straight away. But also when I solve a problem and
Yeah.
after being frustrated for like 10 minutes, I will literally flip off my own
Okay.
screen. I like just
Hmm.
basically show my screen the middle finger. And I think doing that live on a stream wouldn't work very wouldn't work very well. It'd be
Oh
like
gosh.
me just verbally abusing my computer as I don't understand how to do things.
No, I think it happens. I mean, when I got this new keyboard of mine, and I was like, oh, where is this key gone? Or where is that key? And I was literally doing a user group session that day, and I was not able to use zoom in and zoom out on my new keyboard. And it
Oh
was
man, I
so,
love it.
so embarrassing. Like, people must be like, what is she doing?
Yeah. Using a live stream on a new keyboard is pretty brave, I've got to say. That's a very bold move.
I was like, I mean, it's the same. It looks same to me. Everything will
Yeah.
work. But yeah, I just couldn't zoom in, zoom out using window key because window key is at a different place or it's a smaller key this time.
Oh, that's
I was
class.
like, oh, what's happening?
But actually, I wanted to mention your keyboard because I saw a photograph of it. Was it yesterday or today? Is it this Logitech one? Yeah, I love those. They're so cool.
It
Yeah.
kind of gives me a feeling of typewriter
Yeah. Yeah.
because I remember when I was a kid, I actually learned typewriter,
Oh
how to
wow,
type
wow.
on a typewriter, right?
That's impressive.
And I really liked the sound. And I had a
Mm,
normal Logitech keyboard some time back, and
mm,
obviously I used this multi-device connector keyboard because we have got different machines working with, right? And somehow it just went bad, and I was like, I just found this online, and I was like,
mm.
oh, it kind of feels like typewriter. And literally, this was the keyboard where my user group session failed because I was not able to zoom in, zoom out because on this keyboard, Ben, there is not a direct print screen key,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay. I get
So
you.
you have to basically go and take a screen grab using the other key and then use it if you want to do that.
Okay.
And for the zoom in, zoom out, obviously, I'm used to using window and plus
Yeah.
minus, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somehow it was new, so my hands were really going here and there. It was very funny.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. All these things that can go wrong when you're live.
But yeah, it was way too funny. I mean, I
Yeah.
won't say the user group name, but yeah, the people were really cool. But they just ignored my mistakes that day.
Amazing. That was very forgiving of them. That's very kind.
Oh yeah, they just forgave me.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool sometimes. It's great.
Yeah, it's part of the joy of doing live things.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it is. But
these
yeah,
live things.
definitely, let's do the paginated report.
I
Right?
mean, I've loved the feedback. I mean, people to watch it. People say they so actually maybe create a new channel for the swearing. Yeah, I don't know. How is my keyboard testing journey going? So I once I'm going to move a microphone. I got this like friend who like makes these keyboards like, and he made me like he made this. We didn't make it for me. He made it and let me test it.
Oh wow,
Um,
that looks
it's
nice.
it's really cool, but it's the learning curve is really steep because I've got a terrible memory and I use numbers quite a lot. So the numbers
Mhm.
are like under these. So I've got to press like one
You have to
button.
use the additional key to use them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun using it, I've got to say. And the reason primarily wanting something like this is because when I write with Deneb,
Mhm.
when I write with Vega Light, I should say,
Yeah.
you need to use a lot of square brackets and curly brackets, but
Oh yeah.
they're not that easy to find on a German keyboard. You got to press a combination of buttons I don't like. So this one just got them like just if I can see on that zoom,
Yeah,
just
I can
there.
see. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Just for that alone, it would be fantastic. So it's been good fun. I don't use it as much as I should, but I'm getting there. Thanks for
Oh
asking.
God. Yeah, you're just hurting your friend who designed it for you.
Yeah,
On live
yeah.
stream.
No, it's a cool thing. He did a great job. So it's in
But
progress.
yeah, I think it's nice to try out sometimes new things. I mean,
Yeah.
keep things aside like how your demo goes wrong on live stream, but still
I would never use that in a live
cool.
stream. I would
It's cool.
guarantee an absolute nightmare. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think it's cool to try these things.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, anyway, let's probably start to wrap it up because it's been a nice long live stream. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
actually, I didn't see the time. I mean, we were just
Yeah, just chatting and
into
stuff.
the informal chat we were supposed to
Exactly.
have today.
The way it should be, right?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly.
But thank you for taking so much time out of your evening. It's getting.
Oh, pleasure, man. As I said in the starting, I was looking forward to it, and then one day you came.
I
Ta-da!
arrived, right?
Yeah.
And then okay, we both did this at the same time, so I'm definitely gonna get a screenshot of that later, by the way. It's like somehow we did like a bit of synchronized dancing there.
I can dance on your intro music. Actually, I really loved it.
It's
Did
good
you
fun, yeah.
produce
Listen.
that, or is it from something else?
No, I had to buy it to use it on my channel. There's a website where you can buy like music or like have a subscription. And
Oh, okay.
so when I was first started having the live streams, I used to change it like every week based on whatever, but
Yeah.
it got too time consuming every week to kind of get new music. It was so annoying.
But
So
is that music like not published for public? It's like
you can find it
you
on
need to buy
YouTube.
it.
Yeah, it's a there is. I'm not sure if it's a real band. I think some bands just kind of make music for these kind of services.
Yeah.
But you can find it on YouTube as well. It's called
Okay.
I forget the name of the band, but the song is literally just called, I think, "Fun" or "Don't You Want to Have Fun."
Okay.
And I
Okay.
wanted to find music that was a bit fun and uplifting, so I typed the word
Yeah.
"fun," and it was like the third one down. I was like, okay, yeah,
This
I
looks
like
good.
that. Yeah,
No, because
that was
because
good.
because because guys, I mean, those who are joining, I mean, when Ben and me didn't went live, I mean, he told me he'll be running some music and I'll be in the background. And the moment he started the music, I was like this and this and this, and then I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
I get that as well. Even though I've done like over 60 of these, every time the music starts to play, I'm always like nodding my head a little bit as well.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
nice.
like, ah, this is pretty good. I
Yeah.
can dance on it.
Well, I'll send you the link so you can listen to it on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And everyone in the chat, thank you for joining. Always appreciate the comments and the heckling and the the questions. It's been great. And as ever, I'll be back next Thursday. And as ever, I forget with whom, but it'll be another good one, I'm sure. And thank you so much for joining, Pragati. It's been a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
man. Pleasure.
Yeah.
Just enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Thank
Goodbye,
you.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Don't you wanna